You ever wonder how you should be holding your quail? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hey guys, welcome back to another slightly rednecked video. Again, my name's Chris, and if you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. I've had a couple of questions recently from viewers saying, well, how do you hold your quail? And I realized I've never addressed that in video, so why don't we go ahead and get to that? It's actually pretty simple. There's a couple things I would say about it right off the bat is that you want to minimize the stress on the bird and you want to keep them from flopping around. And when you grab a hold of the bird, they're normally going to be a little bit stressed out. Their natural instinct is to flush, to try to fly upward. That's just what quail do naturally. And you want to keep them from, when you grab a hold of them, you don't want their wings loose, flopping around. That's how they end up with injuring themselves. So you really want to kind of keep their wings under control. Now they'll calm down after a few minutes of holding them, and then you can kind of loosen up and you can let their wings go a little bit and all. But really initially when you grab a hold of them, you want to keep their wings under control. So let me bring you in close here. I'll grab one of these birds here. I'll show you kind of how I do it. All right, so we got the cage open here. And again, these birds are gonna be a little bit stressed out whenever I go reaching in here. You don't wanna go super fast, but you wanna be deliberate about it. You don't wanna freak them out too much. Let me check their watering system while I got the cage open, make sure, yeah, water's working. So to grab a hold of the bird, it's actually pretty easy. Let's grab this one right here. Well, how about this one right here? Because he's a little bit easier. And all I do is put my hands over his wings and grab him. Now it's firm, but I'm not squeezing tight. You can put your hand underneath them to support them, but a lot of times that causes more panic. They start kicking and it's harder to keep a hold of them. So it's easier just to kind of, hold on to them like this right here. They will calm down after a few minutes. I can turn around, let them go. Let's try another one here real quick. There we go, grab a hold of you. And I always put my hand on them and kind of hold on to them for just a second, let them calm down a little bit. They're not flexing their wings or anything like that. That's the best way to hold them. Now you will see people that grab a hold of them underneath with their wings out for pictures and things, but let their wings go a little bit. And you can do that, but see, they start to flap their wings around a little bit. You want to keep their wings under control so they don't start thrashing around and hurting themselves. Now this one's calmed down quite a bit. So now I've got a hold of it. I've got its wings out. Not that big of a deal. It's fine. There, we let them go. But again, when you grab a hold of the bird, the best thing to do is just reach in, find one you want, and then just grab a hold of them. Try to grab up close to the head. Try to keep their wings under control so they don't thrash around and they don't hurt themselves. There you go. Go ahead. Now sometimes your birds are going to be a little bit jumpier than others. They're going to run from you when you reach in the cage. A lot of times what helps is maybe put a hand in front of them to kind of distract them a little bit, and you can reach down and grab them with the other hand. That kind of helps a little bit with that. I try to avoid chasing them around the cage too much. If they're running from me, just back off for a second, let them calm down, and then go ahead and reach back in and grab a hold of them. But again, the trick is to just be deliberate about it. You don't want to be jumpy, fast movements. Just deliberately grab the bird. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're real jumpy and jerky about it, and it's going to freak them out even worse, it's going to make it even worse for them. So, I always try to handle my birds without stressing them out too much, and that's the best way I found to do it. Again, if you grab a hold of them, say by the feet or something like that, and leave their wings free, they start flopping those wings around, thrashing around. That's how they're going to injure themselves. It's a lot more stressful for them. So it's always best to keep their wings under control, at least for a few minutes. Give them time to calm down just a little bit, and then you can kind of handle them a little bit differently. Now, if you do handle your quail a lot, you bring them treats a lot, you can tame them up. I've seen birds, quail. I've got one viewer that lives fairly close to me that has come over and bought some quail or bought some birds or some eggs or those kinds of things from me. And she's got this quail that just rides on her shoulder like a little parrot, just hangs out with her. And it can be done. You just got to handle them a lot. You got to spend a lot of time with your birds. And those will be a lot easier to handle. You might be able to get them to where they're finger trained, where they'll just hop right up on your finger even. It's possible to do. I don't mess with my birds that much. So I just end up, just reaching in and grabbing them whenever I need them. And again, firm, but not too tight. You don't want to squeeze them real hard. It doesn't take much to keep those wings under control. They don't have a whole lot of power to lift with. So it's not that hard to kind of keep those wings under control when you grab a hold of them. Pretty simple concept, but had a couple of questions from it. Thought I'd show some video on it, show instructions. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, God bless.